All right, today we're reading chapter 3 of Miracle Boys. We're starting on page 32. After New Charlie and Aaron left, I went to the living room and turned on the television. On Friday nights, Tyree let me watch as much of it as I wanted, as long as I took one weekend day for homework. I usually chose Sunday, usually starting in the late afternoon, or the minute Tyree started getting after me, whichever came first. I flipped through the channels for a while, then sat back against the couch and watched music videos. I couldn't really tell one from the other. Most of them had some guy standing there rapping and a lot of pretty girls dancing around him. Or the guy was driving a fancy car with pretty girls in it. Once in a while, the guy would be in a swimming pool with pretty girls. That was the one on now, a guy with a lot of rings on his fingers rapping to some pretty girls in bikinis. New Charlie liked listening to music, and he said he was going to be a rapper. Aaron said he was going to be one too. Either that or a car salesman. I guess he figured he'd sell cars to rappers who would fill them with pretty girls. The thing about rapping though, New Charlie said, is you gotta do it now. Most rappers weren't much older than him. Sometimes he and Aaron sat in our room all day long, making up rhymes and slapping each other 5 when someone came off sounding right. But I hadn't seen them taking any real steps, like making some tapes and calling the radio station to ask for a few minutes on the air. I turned the radio down low. The apartment felt big and quiet with nobody in it. It wasn't that big, just 4 rooms. Me and New Charlie's room, then Tyree's room next to us. His room used to be Mama's. Then there's a long hallway leading to one big room. That's both the living room and the dining room. If you go right, there's a dining room table and chairs. If you go left, there's a couch and stuff. The door to come in and out is between the couch and the dining room table. You can walk through the living room side to get to the kitchen. You have to walk through the kitchen to get to the bathroom. New Charlie had put plants in all the windows. Spider plants and ferns and some other ones I don't know the name of. He'd learned a lot about plants at Raleigh. It was strange to see him messing around them on Saturday mornings, taking off dead leaves and giving them water. Sometimes he put these little sticks of plant food in the dirt. Once I even caught him talking to them, telling this sickly looking fern that it better toughen up if it wanted to make it in the world. The sun had come out again, and I watched it bounce off the plants and sprinkle itself onto the dining room table. When I closed my eyes just a sliver, I could see Mama sitting at the table, playing with her eyebrow the way she did when she was worrying, her hair coming loose from its braid. I watched my ghost Mama for a while. She looked peaceful sitting there, even if she was worrying. "Hey, Mama," I whispered, "can you make some chicken for dinner tonight?" Mama looked over at me and smiled, a quiet, faraway smile. I blinked and she wasn't there anymore. "I got $1,000 in my pocket," the guy in the rap video was saying. I leaned back against the sofa and watched him do a sort of swim dance around the girls. After a while, I heard Tyree coming up the stairs. He always whistled the same song, a song our mama used to sing us, called Me and Bobby McGee. It was about a woman hitchhiking with her boyfriend in Louisiana and how free she felt whenever she played her harmonica. When Tyree sang the words sometimes, it made me want to get a harmonica and get out onto the road. Maybe see a sunset. Once, Tyree took me to Central Park and we watched the sun go down over the lake my daddy got hypothermia in. It was real pretty and sad. Most times though, it just sets and then it's night, and what you notice is the day and the night, not the sunset in between. On the highway, you probably get all 4 parts: the sunrise, the day, the sunset, and the night. "Yo," Tyree yelled. "Yo back," I said, holding up my hand without turning my head. I felt Tyree slap it and smiled. "Where's your brother?" I shrugged. Ooh, remember how the brother snuck out earlier? Tyree sat down on the couch beside me. He was tall and skinny looking, but not really. When he wasn't wearing a shirt, you could see all his muscles. But with his clothes on, and he looked skinny. He used to have locks, but he cut them off when he started working full time, and now his hair is short and neat like an old man's, even though he's 22. He leaned back against the couch and loosened his tie. I guess Tyree's like our daddy. He works and pays the rent and buys groceries and stuff. After Mama died, the people at the publishing house let him start working full-time. Now he's the mailroom manager there and says the work isn't so bad, but once in a while people blame you for stuff that isn't your fault. Tyree says it's not even worth getting mad about. Really. He says that's how it is in the whole world. People always looking for someone to blame, so he might as well get used to it. Where's your brother, Laugh? He asked me again. Just left. Tyree looked at me, a slow smile coming to his face. He had the best smile in the world. Everybody said so. When he smiled, it made me think about when I used to go to church, how I'd sit there staring at this stained glass window of Jesus with all of the kids around him. Jesus was smiling and the kids were smiling and everything seemed peaceful and right. That's what Tyree's smile was like, peaceful and right. Once I heard Mrs. Williams, who lives downstairs, call him Saint Tyree. And I heard Tyree laugh and say, "But I ain't dead yet, Mrs. W." That what he said to tell me? Tyree raised his eyebrows at me. I shook my head and glued my eyes to the TV. Yeah, right. Tyree rubbed my head and I smiled, taking a swing at his hand and missing. He really did just leave T, like maybe a half an hour ago. He say where he was going? Nah, Tyree frowned. Boy better not be getting into any more trouble, that's for sure. And you better not be getting into any trouble either. He tapped the back of my neck. If New Charlie got in trouble again, they'd send him off to some place worse than Rahway. The social worker said that she'd have to send me either down south with Aunt Cecil or go into foster care. Because if New Charlie got into trouble again, it meant Tyree couldn't handle us. You hear me, Laugh? Do I look like I'm getting into trouble, man? Looks can be deceiving, little brother. Well, I'm not. I'm not New Charlie, and I'm not getting into trouble. Just sitting here watching some TV, that's all. A little TV never hurt nobody. Tyree looked at me for a moment and then smiled again. Well, it didn't. Not like watching a video is going to teach me how to hold up a candy store. Hey, we don't need to talk about that, all right? I nodded. Our house was full of stuff that we didn't need to talk about. How come you ain't outside, Laugh? First you tell me don't get into trouble. Then, little outside never hurt nobody, Tyree said, mimicking me. Mimicking is when you are copying someone, but you are also making fun of them. I tried not to laugh, but I couldn't help it. Tyree could always make me laugh. PJ and Smitty visiting their cousin this weekend, I said. Out in Brooklyn? I nodded. Me and Smitty had been friends forever. Been in the same class since 3rd grade. Him and his little brother PJ lived right down the block, and we all hung out once in a while. But sometimes Smitty'd get to asking questions about Mama dying, stuff I didn't care to talk about. Can you make chicken for dinner, Ty? He jutted his chin towards the kitchen. I read your mind. Took it out of the freezer before I went to work this morning. You gonna fry it? Yeah. We sat watching TV for a while. Tyree wasn't really watching though. He looked like he was thinking deep about things. You thinking about Mama? I asked. Tyree shrugged. Not really. Kind of, I guess. Why do you ask? 'Cause I'm always thinking about her. Me too. Me and Tyree stared at the TV, feeling Mama somewhere nearby, and the house and my head chock full of things we weren't allowed to talk about. All right, hope you guys have a wonderful day.